today I have our really good friend Francis, who is the director and co-founder of a charity in a community called Katanga, which is in the heart of Uganda in Kampala. And Francis is amazing, and he supports lots of people in the community and families particularly, and they have a school, and they do a lot for their community. And I thought it'd be amazing to hear from him during this time, not only how the virus is affecting them in Uganda, but also to hear what it's like day to day for them, for his community and for him and his family. And not only that, is to hear some good stories, because he has seen many amazing things of God, and I'm sure he has some stories of encouragement for us. So Francis, it's so good to see you. How are you doing?
Hi. I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Good. So good. We were talking a bit earlier about how the coronavirus is affecting Uganda, how it's particularly affecting Katanga, your community, and we were saying for us in England how it, obviously being a pandemic, how we're kind of really not used to having to deal with things that spread quite quickly. But could you tell us a bit about Katanga and how many people are there and the things that they face day to day?
Hi everyone. As Matt said, I'm Francis Nkurunziza, the co-founder of a small charity in the middle of the city, which is like the middle of our capital, Kampala. Just to tell you about how many people we have, about 20,000 people, and 3 proper toilets. So you can picture, you have 20,000 people in this community with 3 proper toilets. I know how it is for you there. One house has about how many? 2, 3? Some people have 1, of course. And this to us, isolation, the pandemic, it's like people in Katanga. One of my posts this morning and my thought was, how will they isolate themselves? It's going to be really difficult, because you find one room, there are about 10 people, and the new law the president passed, they have to be 5 people and isolate each other. But for us, we sleep on one mattress on the floor in our room, so it's going to be difficult, as you can picture it out there in your world in the UK. And one of the things which is so difficult for me to picture is isolation. And people here, and in the terms of facilities, we are very limited in the number of things. The bathrooms, people shower from outside, because these toilets are not even for free. You pay for them. Someone has to sit there to attend to you. You give them money. We use cash. We don't pay by credit card or anything. You can't pay in advance. So you picture all this. So I imagine if there's an outbreak like this in Katanga slum, how fast and how quick will it spread? It will really, really spread very fast in Katanga, because of the setting and how the settlement is not very separated. I was telling Matt earlier that if the president has put a ban on food parcels, because people don't have proper addresses. In our setting, if you go into Katanga, the houses are close to each other, room by room, door by door, and people speak to each other, the kids play with each other. It's really difficult. I'm thinking just that they've put a ban, I wanted to go down, because as I'm here and I work with these people, one of the things I have to do is to keep reminding them what to do. The best we can do as a charity, that's all we can do. But in terms of isolation, that might be very tricky.
How is it that, you are such a joy-filled person that everyone that we met in the slums, everyone that we met in these communities that face these things every day, they're we have never met a people so full of joy, so full of expectancy, so full of faith and love, and dependence on God, and really kind of deep faith and understanding of who God is, who Jesus is, who Holy Spirit is. So why is that? Why is that? Can you?
I personally, I grew up in a slum, and I don't have much difference with the people in the slum. One of the things growing up in the slum, I know, and I learned from my parents, they always encouraged us to be happy and settle for what you have. So you learn to live within your means and lead a happy life and be hopeful that you make it. And I'm fortunate. I can't say I've made it, because there are, of course, challenges of life, and sometimes we lack access also to proper medication when we feel like people see us like we are doing well. But one of the things, the people in the slum, what keeps them happy is it's natural. It's you learn to live with it. You learn to live that life of happiness, of joy. And one of the things, because our culture, the way it's said, we are like a team. Even when we make efforts, we believe in relationships. We build relationships. You build relationship with everyone, and you keep at peace with everyone. So about the happiness, it comes natural. You live by it.
What's the kind of common thing that God speaks to you about? What are the kind of things that you hear him saying, just in day-to-day life?
In relation to what the country, the whole world is going through, I've seen what the world has done. The world has conformed to the patterns of the world so much that they forgot about God, and everyone is worried about my work, my car, I can't drive, I can't access this, I can't. Imagine now people in a slum like where I work, who don't, the only thing they're worried about is their relative. That's the first thing. Everyone I've asked, what is your biggest problem now? They're like, my mother in the village, my auntie somewhere. You don't hear them saying, my job. So it's very interesting. Of course, there are those who, because for us here, we put our lives not onto the treasures of the world, but more onto the day-to-day life. People here live day by day. So me personally, I've been reading scriptures, and one of the things I just say, God, you've given me this. I don't deserve it. I know both lives. I know a life with it and a life without it. And I feel comfortable even without it, because that's the life I lived most as a child. And that's where I say, if I don't have fuel in my car, I'll leave it. I'll grab, we have bikes, we call them border borders, for those of you who don't know. So motorbikes, small bikes are called border borders. I say, a small minivan called a taxi. So jump on a taxi, pay less, leave the car behind. But in my world, I'm used. So I believe many families are used to this life. The only thing which came to my mind is my mother in the village.
It's amazing how, the first thing is, on your hearts is other people and family. And again, I think we've really seen that here in the UK, where people have stepped up into community. People have stepped up in wanting to help and wanting to support those who are vulnerable. So this is, I think this is an innate thing inside of us to bless others, to help others. And right. It's amazing, because that's what you carry every day, pandemic or no pandemic, that you always carry a heart for other people, and that's really the kind of culture that you cultivate, and it's infectious. And I'm always inspired when I speak to you about how you just trust God and your faith in God. Could you share an encouraging story?
One of the things I thank God for, He has networked me with different people. I've got opportunities to travel. And one of the things I really tell people that I thank God for is to be able to speak English, because we have multiple languages here. And through me speaking English and going to school, I can share. I can share my story. I can tell people about who I am and what I've gone through. Because if I'm given opportunity, I always speak about self-application more than preaching, or I want to live a real life. What has been my experience, rather than telling people about how God has worked for so and so, or who and who, or great preachers or things like that. I rather do self-application. So one of the things I thank God for is He has opened for me doors, and also be able to give back to the communities that I work with, and give back to the people who have a similar background. I've slept in that situation, I've lived. So to see that I can go back and being accepted and do this ministry, it's really powerful to me, and powerful to my wife too. Now works for the charity I work for. So as a family, my son, whenever they bring sweets or anything, and I tell him this belongs to Katanga, he tags them: Katanga sweets, Katanga clothes, Katanga everything in this house, which is so amazing. So he knows Daddy works in Katanga. He doesn't know even that my job, which pays for us to be living, is driving. And driving, I'm just learning, and I'm just creating avenues. The pandemic really has shocked us in Africa, because we battle with a number of diseases and number of illnesses. So the fact that it comes with condition, that's the bigger shock. For us, we believe that we can deal with it, whatever big it is, because we don't want to be limited, because we don't have bank accounts, we don't have money seated in accounts, we don't have, the government is not going to give us money for anything, to run our family. So people are there looking for food and what to eat. So it's just like, stop going out, stop going anywhere, and this is a freeze. So many people in Katanga slum don't have food, don't have clothing, don't have anything. So that's the hurting thing.
Is there any particular points that we can be praying for you and for the people of Katanga? If there's kind of one main kind of prayer point for us, what would that be?
Pray for the people in Katanga and other disadvantaged places, not only in Katanga, because as a country we have so many places that people are trying to help. These poor and the street children in Kampala and other places. I just talked about Katanga, but there are also street children in the country, which are many. So I'm sure it is a battle for them, and a trying moment. Just pray for this pandemic so that God can open up people's minds and come up with a better medication. And we don't know how long for us in Africa it will take for the medication to reach here. Probably we just don't know. We're just lucky that we haven't lost so many people. But also for the families that have lost their loved ones worldwide, it's saddening and very threatening. Until you lose a loved one, then you realize actually it's real. It's not a joke, really. So we just pray for God to stand with us in this trying moment. And so we just keep strong as well through this. Whatever we do, whatever we try, He knows what is happening exactly. God knows. He knows at this age. So we thank God. We thank God for those of us. He has been in our lives and He has seen us through. And I'm sure God will see us through this. So stay encouraged, all of you. God will see you through this. It will come to an end, and life will come back to normal.
Yeah, Francis, thank you so much for talking to us, and your stories of reality for you, but also the inspiration it is to see your kind of joy and positivity and your hope, and your love for life and your love for community and love for others. And I know that will really inspire those who watch this video. So I just want to bless you and thank you for all that you do. And if it's okay, I'll put a link to the charity after this. So if people feel led or inspired to either donate or to just to see what you're up to, then I'll put the link to your website on there as well.
Thank you.
Cool.